another week of the Teacher Blab Show. I am your host, Sarah, with the other co-hosts, my sidekicks, my partners in crime. What do I call y'all? Julie, Rochelle, and Misty. Hey, ladies, how are you?
Hey.
We are better than last week.
Yeah.
Listen, I am totally with you on there. So for those of you who might be asking, yes, we are about 10 minutes late getting live. It is my fault. The ladies were waiting on me. I had to message them this morning. I don't remember when it was that I messaged you, but I messaged this morning to let them know that I was headed to the doctor because yesterday morning I woke up and my eardrum burst. So I have got massive amounts of antibiotic drops in my ears and cotton right now, trying to keep it. It's a hot mess and a lot of pain. Like this whole side of my face is just in pain. So have you ever had that happen?
I have had tooth pain and it shoots up. I mean, severe tooth pain. It shoots up my ear. I can't even imagine the actual eardrum. That's crazy.
I switched cameras so I could look like I was looking. Since I don't have the green screen, it doesn't matter tonight. So, listen, I don't think I've ever felt a pain like this. And it started probably, I guess, last Thursday night, I started feeling some ear pain. And I've had some sinus drainage, but it wasn't anything more than just like sinuses and allergies. And then I started noticing my ear was hurting and it progressively got worse. And I just was doing like homeopathic, treatments, peroxide, the apple cider vinegar, that kind of stuff. It wasn't getting better. And I went to sleep Tuesday night. I was in so much pain. We were doing hot compresses. I even broke out the heating pad and was like laying on the heating pad with my head. And just nothing was helping. And about between 2 and 3 Wednesday morning, I woke up and it was like somebody took an ice pick and jabbed it into my head. And I was like, no! Screaming. And it was just pouring. It was disgusting.
So how does it burst? Like, is it mucus? I don't be gross, but like with kids when they get tubes?
Yes. So that's exactly what happens. And when I went in today, she checked this ear, my good ear, and everything was fine. But then when she put the little, I think is it called an otoscope? If you're in the comments and you've ever had this happen, or you know what that little thing that's called that they look in your ear with. So anyway, she did not even get but barely the tip of it in. And she was like, you burst it. So anyway, so I have about 6 to 8 weeks for it to repair. And then they're going to look at it because it was so bad that they're worried about some hearing loss and some other stuff. So,
wow.
Yeah, I know. It was bad. So how has your week been? Enough about my gross ear. Rochelle, how's your week been?
It's been good.
I'm loving your shirt. Not gonna lie.
This was on my doorstep.
Oh.
This was on my doorstep last week with this.
Oh, Doc. Oh, I love that quote.
One of my parents for teacher appreciation dropped it on my doorstep.
Wow.
How sweet.
With a card from her daughter. And I was like, thank you.
I know. I miss all the cards because, usually at school we get all the cards, but, it's kind of hard because if the parents don't mail it or something, we don't get them. And I miss those little notes.
Yeah. So I was like excited. But it was a good week because my internet, now that I'm like direct connected with it, it's not going out.
Hey.
And so last week it went out and I was so upset because our PE teacher came in and we were going to start workout Wednesdays and I missed it. But we did it yesterday and it was the cutest activity. Guys, if you are teaching online and you need a wiggle brain break, I highly suggest what she did with my class. And I would love to show you the video, but obviously I can't.
Send it to me. I can.
Well, I mean, but it's got all my kids in
it. Okay. My bad.
But I can show you what she did. I highly recommend you do this because my kids were hysterical. So she's like, boys and girls, we're going to play rock, paper, scissors. And I was like, okay, I'm listening because we are on a computer. She was like, okay, everybody stand up. And so everybody's standing up. And she's like, okay, Here's scissors.
Oh, that's
Here's paper.
cool.
Here's rock. And she's like, I'm going to count 1, 2, 3. And when I say 3, you're going to strike your pose and you have to beat me. And so she was like, 1, 2, 3. And all the kids are like striking poses. And so my whole screen was like a bunch of rock, paper, scissors. And she called out, she's like, okay, I was rock. So she like called out all the papers and said, good job, you beat me. And then the other kids are like, next time. And she played like rock, paper, scissors with my kids for like no joke 10 minutes and they could still play. They were obsessed with this game.
That is so sweet.
I was laughing so hard on my end because I was playing too. I was playing rock, paper, scissors with them. I was scissoring and papering and rocking and oh my gosh. And then she did like some other things, like she did the fine motor with, they had to crumple up a piece of paper. And so she did like focus and eye coordination and she did that. And then they did some like running in place and hopping and jump ropes. And it was the cutest online PE I swear I've ever seen. It was so cute.
WebEx, right, Rochelle?
Unfortunately, yes.
And you can see everybody though, right?
Yeah. So I put the grid on. Okay. But when I record it, I can't have the grid because it doesn't record right. So I put it on her and I was switching back and forth when I took like the little video to see the kids.
Oh.
It was the funniest and cutest thing. So
that sounds like so much fun.
If you're teaching online and you need a game to play with your kids, rock, paper, scissors, it's so fun.
Okay, so for our viewers, so let's do this. We're gonna play against Rochelle. Tell us what rock is. Or
okay, rock is this.
Rock.
Okay, this is scissors. And this is paper.
Paper. All right, so Rochelle.
So on the count of 3.
Wait, this is rock.
Rock, paper, scissors. Okay.
So like running man, hands up, high. Okay. Running man, hands up, high.
All right.
So she was like, on the count of 3, when I say 3, you strike your pose and you're trying to beat me.
All right.
Ready?
Go, here we go.
1, 2, 3. All right, time scissors. So I beat paper and Farrah beat me. See, isn't that silly?
I can remember.
Oh, isn't it fun though? All the kids, like us giggling. I had a whole screen of like, how many kids showed up yesterday? I had 20 kids on yesterday playing.
Wow, that's awesome.
And after every single pose, you see all of a sudden a bunch of kids laughing.
We're grown women. We're grown women. And
it's so fun.
That's an awesome idea. Wow.
That made my week yesterday because I was cracking up watching them crack up, and I'm like, we all needed this. We all needed to be silly and laugh and play something like rock, paper, scissors. So
that's right.
I love it. Okay, so if you are just joining us, Rochelle just shared a fun idea to do with your kids in class, playing rock, paper, scissors. Make sure you go back and catch that on the replay. If you didn't, if you weren't here from the beginning. Welcome to all of our Blab fans that are out there. We got to come up with a name for our Blab dudes, Blabettes and Blab dudes.
I was about to say Blabettes, but I was like, well,
they're not all girls. So
I know Blabber.
You're Blabbies. Our Blabbies. Blabbies. Welcome to all of our Blabbies. That's what we're going to call it.
I mean, it sounds like it could be an award.
Yes.
Like we have the Grammys, the Emmys, the Blab.
We give the Blabbies.
The Blabbies. The Blabbers sounds too much like blubbers. I'm just going to be honest. And while that might be appropriate for me at points in my life. So I like Blabbies. All right. So welcome to you guys. Hello, Robin. We're so glad. If you are if this is your first time joining us here for this Blab show, be sure you let us know where you're tuning in from, your grade level. We like to get to meet all of our Blabbies. And Julie, how are you feeling? Because you were sick last week.
So much better.
Did you get me sick? Is that what it is? You got me
I can tell you're much better.
I am officially not corona.
Good.
I got test results back. I do not have corona. I really think that I just got my immune system kind of got hit with a double whammy.
Yeah.
Some of y'all don't know that after the show Thursday, I started to develop this weird thing on my leg. It was red. It was warm. It was blotchy. It looked like I had been bitten by something or several somethings.
Mhm.
My doctor is thinking that we've got gnats kind of out and about. So he kind of, because I sent him a photograph of it and he kind of thought that's what it was. So I put cortisone cream plus my Z-Pack that I was on.
Mhm.
I think between whatever it was that bit my leg and dealing with all the dust and the stuff in the classroom,
Yeah.
I think my immune system went into overdrive because, hello, I've been stuck in my house for 2.5 months. So that's what's, I think, spiked my fever. My immune system was trying to fight it all off at the same time.
That was a high fever. She was like
Yeah.
103.
103.
That's high for an adult.
Because I'm thinking that whatever bit me may have done it Tuesday morning, maybe while I was like coming into the building, whatever, and I just didn't notice it. And because I was running around my classroom so much and I got so hot and sweaty and all that whatever bit me just started shooting through my system a little bit quicker than what it would normally do. That, and then the upper respiratory thing with all of the dust and stuff, my immune system just went, holy mess, what is going on? Fight, and well,
that's what I'm concerned about. We say we've been into, a lot of people are saying that if we continue to stay home and not be exposed to anything, our immune system could be so low that when we do go, everybody's going to get sick because we're not used to.
And
germs.
I'm kind of prime example of that. I mean, I hadn't been out and about at all. I think if I wouldn't have been bitten by something, which is what I'm assuming happened to my leg, that I'd have just had a little bit of a cough from dealing with the dust in my room, and it wouldn't have been that bad.
Right.
But
right. But you're feeling better now.
Oh, yeah, I'm good. I still have a little bit of a cough. But other than that, it took me a while. I'm finally starting to have some kind of pep again, and I'm not like napping off and on. But I think that's the Z-Pack, that kind of knocked me out. So, but I'm good.
You can definitely tell in her face.
Misty, what about you? How's your week?
No, just school. And we just found out that my teammate from first grade, she was like, man, I would go to third grade with you. Well, it happened to this other third grade teacher was already looking to teach in a private school. And she just said she was leaving today and they hired my first grade partner. So she's going to be coming with me.
Oh,
that's
cool.
such great news.
I know. I call her my school wife. So yeah, she's joining us. And
it makes her a little less scary.
Yeah, exactly. And she kept on texting me, I can't believe I'm in third grade. I can't believe I'm in third grade. And then her mom teaches there too. So she's going to be not the same team, but same grade. Her mom's with us. So
Fun.
yeah.
You know what? I have told my daughter that probably the only thing that would get me to go back to the classroom at this point was when she starts teaching if there's an opening for the same grade level.
Oh my gosh.
Sure.
It works out. I've had another team where the mom and daughter work together in first grade.
I would so go work. Like if you were first year teaching, I would so go. So I asked in the comments, hey there, Blabbies, how has your week been? Drop those comments down below. Let us know how your week has been. We are wrapping up the school year. A lot of schools are. I actually got to get out. I don't have it with me. Maybe I can get my husband to hand it to me. But today, when I went to the doctor, which don't even get me started, that was a whole process amongst itself.
Right.
I've never had a nurse come to my car to check me in and take my temperature and do all of that. But also I had, it was the first time I've worn a mask in public. So I had that sucker on all day. All I'm going to say is one, bow down to your first responders, doctors and nurses. Yeah. Who's out there who has been wearing that sucker all day from the very beginning, because OMG, I did not realize how horrible it was to have that thing on your face.
Yeah, it's hard to breathe, isn't it?
It's like hard to breathe. I could not wait to get into the truck in between places that I had to go and get it off my face. And just want to revisit a little bit of a hot topic. before we dive into what we were going to talk about tonight with digital platforms, the whole CDC recommendations of going back into the classroom and teachers and students wearing those masks all day, I'm going to call bull balonky right now.
Oh, yeah. No way.
No, there is just no way.
Nope.
There's just no way. I could barely. It was horrible. It was horrible all day having to wear that, and I didn't. And I was just wearing it. And then it was so infuriating to be places because I know in Texas, kind of, it's one of those. The recommendation is that when you're out in public, you're supposed to have it on. And like I went to Walgreens and there's a big old sign when you walk in Walgreens. It says face coverings are required for entrance.
Oh, we haven't had any requirements.
And I walked through Walgreens and saw 3 people that did not have them on. And I was infuriated because I was like, I'm going through all of this. Why do you not have a mask on? And so craziness. But I will say, that for those of you, I was so super excited that one of the places I had to go today, and which is why I went to the doctor this morning to make sure that everything was okay before I went, was I finally got in to see my hairdresser.
I can't believe you got in. I heard they're so backed up.
I'm going to the beauty shop, and I told her, but I wore my mask the whole time. She wore hers the whole time. Oh my gosh, it was crazy. So Robin says she's been doing supply pickup all week and got drug into admin meetings for
Ew.
I'm so sorry, Robin.
I had we're in an admin group too. The admin, they picked a couple teachers as well. So we're in this admin thing. They're trying to figure out what standards or skills weren't met before when we left, so they can send them to the next grade up, so we can kind of figure out what we need to start with.
So Joanna says, some days it feels like I'm living in Groundhog Days movie, but I love Zooming with my students. It makes my day. I also love being able to spend time with my girls during the day. I'm telling you, that was one of the things. There were a lot of moms, a couple of other teachers in the salon today. Of course, again, we were waiting in our car and then being brought in, and they had the stations. It was like every other station was being used. But we were in there, and we were all talking about. There was a line for the chair to be waxed. But they were all talking about how there were a lot of parents in there that were talking about going to homeschool their kids next year, looking for options to homeschool. So I got to talk to some parents today about some of the stuff that we're going to be talking about. And so they were really interested in figuring out how they could find things to be able to homeschool their kids next year, because parents are not comfortable with sending their kids back yet. They're just not comfortable with it. So Kim says, my friend is ordering me a face shield. You know, my hairdresser said that she ordered her and all the girls face shields because they've been open since last Friday when they officially could open. And they've been wearing the cloth masks, and they've all said, "Oh my God, no!" Ordered them face shields that are like wear around their head, and they come out away from their faces, so that there's nothing on their face, so they're able.
I could do that.
Shirai says, "I've been wearing a bandana and my glasses." I know.
Yes.
It's horrible. And even with the face shields, going back to the classroom, I mean, the whole thing about staying 6 feet away from me, I mean, you all know, especially those of us that teach those lower elementary grades, come and hug you, and what do you tell? Stay away from me.
And did you see? I don't know. Maybe was trying to. They actually have a clear. I don't know where you would get this for everyone, but a clear
like plexiglass
on each desk.
Oh, that was in some Asian country.
Yeah,
I saw that. They were like the dividers that you can buy, but they were plexiglass ones in between the students.
And when they walked in, they had they had to hold their hands out, and they had to, every single kid before they walked into the school, they had like hot water or something on their hands, their feet, their clothes. They had to turn around, and they sprayed their whole body. Ooh,
I just cannot imagine. Like I said, I just had it on for, and I think the longest I had it on was the 2.5 hours I was at the salon. And No, there's no way I would have that sucker on for 8 hours at school. There is just, it would not happen. It would not happen. What Megan says, I'll hold a pea noodle to keep my distance.
You're gonna have
out there that a country has those.
Is it 6
on their head?
On their head. They wear them on their head.
Megan, we are so glad that you found us.
Yeah,
Megan joined us, I think, for the first time last week.
Yeah.
We're so glad she found. Megan and I were in a thing together. I'm thinking that's the same Megan because the picture looks the same. We were in a little collaborative thing together, and it was super, super fun. So Robin asks, she says, how many parents are going to say, don't touch my child at all this year? Not even a fifth. Listen,
yeah,
that was what I was hearing from the parents that were in the salon. And there were a couple of other I think there were like 7 of us there at a time. There at a time. And that's what the feeling was parents were not. Oh, Megan's like, I'm an original viewer.
You watched us in Blab, Megan. You joined us in Blab.
Just ignore me. I apologize. I'm so sorry. Maybe I'm now recognizing your name. I'm going to blame it on the drugs that I'm on. Megan, we love you. You're an original Blabby. We're going to have to do shirts. Blabby.
Oh, she said from the old days. You got that Blab going, baby.
I love you. Periscope for the win. Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, did you know Periscope is still around?
Yes.
I sometimes go on there and I'll say, hey, teachers are out there, and nobody responds.
Funny thing. If we go up to the next tier on our streaming platform, we could actually stream to more than just 2 places. And I thought, how cool would that to be to stream to Periscope again?
Periscope.
Let me see. That's how we all really met.
That's how we all. Yeah. So, but anyway,
that's where I met Farrah, but she didn't know that I met her yet.
Oh,
everybody else, I think I met. How did I meet everybody else?
I met you Periscope, and then we did the Google chat hangout.
Yeah, the Google Hangouts. Yeah,
I watched Farrah on YouTube the whole break.
I had met her in person.
And then whenever
Rochelle cracked me up. Oh my God, she said my name.
She said my name.
I'm like, okay, Rochelle.
That's
girl.
So yeah, you're famous.
Yeah. So yes, that was really the feeling of the parents and the teachers as well, because they've got small children too, and they're not even comfortable with sending their kids back to school yet. So I keep saying it. I don't think we're going back in September. I keep saying it, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. All right. So, but what we're going to talk about tonight is some of these platforms. Oh,
look, Julie, were you there?
Yeah, probably.
You make me feel bad now, aren't you?
Megan was in Louisiana.
Megan says, "What you talking about? What you talking about, Farrah? I met you at a conference." Girl,
I went to one of them, maybe 2012. I think
I went to the last 3 that we had up there in Pineville.
Yeah, it was
before they moved it to like Vegas or something one year.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
It was the last. I think it was the last 3 that were in Pineville that I went.
I haven't been to any of them, and I regret it.
Well, it's just because of Louisiana, it was so easy and it was free, and you just drive up there and.
Yeah.
I said bye before they went someplace else. So, anyway. So Joanna says, my twins are in 5th, had to tell them their church summer camp had been canceled. Aww. I feel so bad. They said no graduation from elementary school, no church play, no chorus performance. Now this is the worst 5th grade year ever. I feel so bad for those 5th graders, for the 8th graders going into high school, for the seniors. Although we got to watch our niece, who is homeschooled, but they're part of a homeschool cooperative. So they do a graduation every year, and we got to watch her graduation. So it was really, really cool, actually, because under normal circumstances, I don't think the whole family would have been able to be there. And we got to be there on Zoom. So friends and family, we had this big Zoom room, and then we were, because they did it virtually. And so we were watching it and all of that. It was really, really cool. It was really
This is where I feel like technology has been a blessing because years ago, if this happened, we wouldn't see our kids anymore. Or I have kids that my kids that I had last year that are turning 8, I went to one of their baptisms that had a bunch of kids from that I had, and they were like, I'm turning 8 in this month. I'm turning 8 in May. And I'm like, invite me and I will go to them all, but now we can't. But I'm seeing all of these like Instagram stories, and the whole family got on Zoom and they all got to see them get baptized all at once. And it was like from all different parts of the country that could see it. And so, I mean, like, yeah, it's kind of a bummer that like we couldn't go and see it, but more people in your family saw it because of this. So I feel like there's a blessing and a curse to all of this going on, but technology is really such a blessing for us.
It is. And look at all the, like, I've got a student who I wish we were going to be in Houston already, but they're doing a drive-by birthday party.
They're doing those.
And so they're doing the birthday party in the front yard, and then all the friends and family are going to like drive by and honk and leave gifts and do all of that. I think that is so cool. But the thing about it is, and we're going to get to some of your comments here in just a second. So keep them coming. But the thing about it is we've had FaceTime forever. And 2 years ago, maybe it was last year, but I think it was 2 years ago when the FaceTime, when the new update, no, I guess it was last year, the iOS 13, when the new FaceTime can do multiple people. Now, granted, you have to be on an iPhone to do FaceTime, but I think it's really opening people's eyes as to how much technology is out there. Like you said, some of this technology has been around, it just has not been used. And we even, I cannot tell you, and I'd have to, I know as long as I've known my husband, I don't think, because we got together 2 years ago for his parents' anniversary, and all 3 of the kids they surprised him. We showed up and surprised him with all 3 of the kids there. Mm-hmm. And I don't think they had managed to have all 3 kids in at the same time there at the house in a number of years. But yet this year on Mother's Day, we had a Zoom call. Oh. And so we all got, yes. And so it was really cool because she got to see all of her kids. My mother-in-law got to see all 3 of them and grandkids on a Zoom call. So that was really, really, really cool. So you're right. So let's see. Kim says, what do teacher parents do with their own kids if we go to an AB schedule?
That's what I'm glad you said something about her comment. I agree with you because you can't do daycare. We have school daycare, but what do? You can't have the kids in the cafeteria. They're too close. So how we're going to, I don't know.
Yeah.
And I have a parent that has 5 kids that are elementary school.
Oh,
so
my
how
God.
are we going to do that? I mean, pick 2 kids.
Oh, my gosh.
And then,
can you imagine if they were all on different AB schedules?
Right.
Oh, Megan. Are they getting to have graduation? Let's see. She says her school is doing a drive-in style graduation. Listen, I would just keep I have a couple of friends who have seniors also, and I've talked to them a little bit, and I keep saying, when you're my age, it will seem like it didn't even matter.
Right.
But you kind of have to think of it as like you have by far the most unique graduation that nobody else but 2020 graduates share. Yeah. Which I feel like is pretty cool. Like it's unfortunate because like this is your life right now, so you feel like it's the end of the world. Mm-hmm. But like when you get older, you can say I graduated in my car. We drove by and nobody else can say that. Everybody else is like, well, I sat in a stadium and I heard the 25-30 minute talk and I heard from the validate. Like everybody else's graduation is just so boring compared to the 2020 graduates that get this so unique situation. So, I mean, like as hard as it is now because it's your life, think of it that way, that you now have a story and an experience that you only share with a very small portion of the world.
Oh, well, we're doing a football stadium and they can invite 4 people. So they're going to have a real graduation, but just out in the football stadium.
I'm sorry. I'm just putting comments up on the screen while we're talking.
I agree with Hillary. I mean, my birthday's in September. We got Septembers in here.
I'm just saying.
And if we're out of quarantine, I want a parade going down my house.
And Robin said, I love all the drive-by birthday parties. Listen, as a parent, if this had been happening when I had small kids and I didn't have to put all that together for a birthday party.
That's
Yeah.
cheap. I spent hundreds of dollars.
It never ends. I mean, it just keeps going, and all you have to do is sit on your driveway.
That's
So,
what I always say.
I want to come back. I'm going to come back to Shirai. Shirai, I didn't forget about you. I'm going to come back to you. Megan says, I'm glad for some type of ceremony. And yes,
Yeah.
I do agree. I think it's really great that they're giving them some type of ceremony, whether it be
Something.
drive-by, whether it be or drive-in, or whether it be, virtual something. I will say that it was really, really cool. The virtual ceremony that my niece did, they had the kids put together a statement. So not one person got to speak at graduation. They all got to speak at graduation. And it was like a 30-second, I think it was 30 seconds to a minute of them talking about who they thanked, who their biggest inspiration was, what they plan to do after graduation. And it was a slideshow of pictures from when they were a baby through graduation. And then the final picture was they told them their final picture needed to be them in their cap and gown. And their parents giving them their diploma. So, and they all did it like in their backyards, and their parents giving them their diplomas. And so it was really, really cool. There was a keynote speaker, just like a graduation would have, that spoke to them and stuff. But I thought it was really cool because the valedictorian spoke first, and then they all got to speak. So I thought it was really, really cool that they got to do that. So, let's see. Robin says, I live in an area with lots of parents that are shift workers. AB schedule would be a nightmare. I just don't see an AB schedule happening. I just don't. I don't see AB schedule happening, and I don't see the morning afternoon schedule happening. I honestly believe that they will do distance learning until everything is, and I think we're going to be wearing masks in public for a while. I think, yeah. Because
I don't know about our state. I don't know, Julie. Ours is kind of like, it's all good. We haven't been. I mean, I don't know.
Louisiana was one of the worst states. I just don't.
I hope my state just burns it.
Our numbers are going down though, so hopefully.
1,617 degrees. I hope it just burns and dies out here. I'm so thankful for our terrible, terrible summers up until.
Yeah, it says it dies in the heat, but I don't know. I'm 80 over here, and it still has it.
In Arizona.
Oh, I'm just telling you, I feel just, and I just keep seeing things that I'm just going, oh, these people don't get it. Just like I went through the drive-thru on the way home to grab chicken, and I was watching them, and they had their gloves on, but they were literally grabbing bags and cups and handing them, and they didn't switch their gloves out between orders. And
I don't think they have enough. I know it kind of defeats the purpose. I just don't know if they have the supply to do it. So it doesn't.
Yeah, it doesn't. All right, I want to go back up here to Shirai's comment. Here we go. This is very, very important here because I think, and it goes right into what we were going to talk about tonight, because I think this right here is why it's going to be so important for teachers to figure out these platforms. And this right here, my school has been talking about our paper budget for making copies. If I knew all the technology I could use, I would have made very few copies. Listen, I think schools are going to be seeing how learning can be being done digitally, and I think teachers who had paper budgets to begin with, I don't know about y'all, but up until my last year in the classroom, I never really had a paper budget. I didn't have we weren't given a certain number of reams of paper.
We are.
And my last year we were, and I was like, what is this craziness what do you mean I only get so much paper? What?
Yeah.
So I think that it is about to rock some teachers' worlds, because I think what do you think?
Well, we don't have enough. They would have to supply the technology for the parents. We have buses that have the Wi-Fi. We could park in the parking lot to use their Wi-Fi, but we don't have enough to give them all these parents, what if they damage the iPads or the computers? So I'm worried about that. I don't know if we can get everybody on board. Supply. We have 800 kids just in our school, and I know we don't have that much technology.
If we go back to the classroom, I think they're starting to kind of catch on. Like, I don't think these teachers need to make all these copies. If we put a giant 75-inch TV, not saying that's happening to me or anything. You can just put the worksheet digitally on that screen and show it to the kids there. But in my head, I'm like, so then how are the kids writing this ish down?
I know. I do like that. I'd rather be in my classroom, but yeah. Oh, I didn't know about Zern, Kim. I think I kind of mentioned, but I don't. So it's one class with 35 students. So I thought usually they were keeping everything free for the pandemic.
Some stuff is. I appreciate the websites that are breaking down.
I didn't. Okay, I'm not familiar with Zern, so I'm going to have to go. Can you drop a link to that? Misty, you're familiar with that, so go ahead and tell us about Zern. What's Zern?
Zern.org is like a partner for Eureka Math. And so the same lessons that are on a workbook and PowerPoints and everything are also on this program. And it gives you a video, then you do sprints. It teaches you, and I just let them move off and do it on their own. I don't even have to go help them. So they're getting math twice, And Zern is free, but now that I'm noticing if you have two classes, I mean, I'm sure there's a way around it, but that's kind of weird that they, I'm nodding at what Misty's saying. But I don't know. There is a program on Zern too that's a paid subscription, but you just print out sheets, but we don't want that. We don't want to print out. We just want the digital sort of Zern. So that's kind of sad. I don't know why they would do that, especially during this time. It's kind of odd.
Well, so Zern goes with a specific curriculum, is what you're saying.
Correct. It's kind of standards, but it is like each module, and Eureka has all the 6 modules, and Zern also has the same exact thing. So they can move up, even though we're not on that lesson. So I had kids on 3rd grade math because they just kept on, differentiate. They kept on moving. So it's a pretty good program. So hopefully it's never going to be
paid now.
Oh yeah, that's what you have 2 partners. That's exactly what I was thinking, Robin. So myself and my teammate would each have a class. And we don't have 35 in each class, so it would work out.
So I can't find it now. I know that I'm in the beta and it just hasn't been added to mine yet. But one of the things that I'm super excited about to share is Teachers Pay Teachers is about to release. I just recently got into the beta group, so they're about to release an app that what will happen is when you see like when you go to a resource on Teachers Pay Teachers, if it's a PDF resource, now it has to be a PDF. It can't be, obviously it can't be like a zip file or something like that. So it's got to be a standalone PDF. But what will happen is those authors who are in the beta and who have opted to allow this, there will be a button that will say create digital resource or something. I can't remember what. I've tested it and it looked pretty cool. But what it does, it allows you as a teacher, if you've purchased a resource that an author has allowed this, you click that button, and within the Teachers Pay Teachers platform, they make that PDF editable by students. So they can go in and they can highlight, they can write on it, but you can assign it to Google Classroom. And that's the first one we're going to talk about is Google Classroom. It's only adaptable with Google Classroom because you can basically do it, and then you can delete pages, you can do all kinds of things and assign certain pages and things like that. It is in beta, but it is coming. I know they're working really hard. I joined the beta. I just have not seen it come through where the feature's been added to mine. I wish I could show it to you. But as soon as that is, I will, or if I can find one, I'll show you how that works. But so yes, I'm in fact, I might be able to find the one I downloaded. But go ahead. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. Well, Google, see, we're Microsoft, so I don't think we're allowed to use Google, but it's free. Like, I've never really looked at the Google Classroom because we're never allowed, right? Is it free for anyone that I can just create a class in Google Classroom without having a school subscription, correct?
Yes. So Google Classroom is kind of the big player in the digital classroom world. I know there's a lot of other options, but a lot of when people think of, especially, when it comes to education, it's mostly Google Classroom. I know Microsoft Teams is kind of set up to do the same thing.
But we can't do it with the kids. That's the hard part with our district. So we have nothing like this, and I might
so Google Classroom can be used. I was never at a Google school. So Google Classroom, I always had a Google Classroom for my kids. Once I started for at least the last 10 years I was in the classroom, we always had a Google Classroom. We may not have been completely digital, but I was still doing things. I would do their homework and other things on Google Classroom. So you just go onto Google Classroom and you can sign up for an account. Where the hurdle comes in is your kids have to have Gmail.
Okay.
Yeah, your kids have to have Gmails.
And so my way around that, of course, I did this with first grade all the way up through fifth grade. And my way around that was to just have the parents create them a Gmail. And I never had a parent that cared. I did not set them up. I did not create the email addresses. I had the parents create the email addresses. And then I just had the parents give me the email addresses. Literally, they would text them to me.
Right.
Put them in, because then it would send them an invite to join. And the kids never had to check their email. It was just their login. So parents would set all that up, and then I didn't have to worry about doing permission slips. But you could always do a permission slip and have, your parents sign a permission slip for you to create a Gmail. I just felt better just having my parents set it up. Now, I'm not going to lie. There were plenty of years where I was chasing down parents to get those emails set up, but we did. So yeah, let's kind of talk a little bit about Google Classroom first. And I am going to show you this. I did find this resource, so I'm going to share the screen here in a minute, show you what it does. But let us know in the comments if you are using Google Classroom. Let me kind of go back up. Free till June. If you have 2 classes, okay, that's about Zern. Kim says, if I had PDF that is multiple pages, how do I upload just a few pages to Google Classroom? That is a very good question. And that is on my list of things to make a tutorial video over. There
was a site that I had found online, and it was for free, that would let you edit PDFs, and one of the things you could do in it was remove pages.
Okay, so small.
I don't remember what it is.
PDF
Candy and Small PDF are 2 websites that you can go to. If you'll drop those, it's pdfcandy.com, I believe, and smallpdf.com. I do think they limit you to how many per month if you're on the free. But also, if you have a phone, or you have an iPad, or even your computer, if you open that document and you take a screenshot and you screenshot the area of the worksheet, it saves it as an image. And then all you have to do is upload that image as its own document.
Sure.
Listen, us cheapskate teachers have been doing that forever. Snipping tool. Yes. Open it in preview, use the snipping tool, take a screenshot of it, and it'll save it as a separate image. Super simple, super easy. And you can upload individual pages into. I know I had a lot of, hello, where are we? What if I had, look, I can't even find the comment that's on the screen now. There it is. Okay. Sorry. I had a lot of teachers reach out to me about my morning work because they were like, we can't print it and put it in a binder, but I want my kids to be able to do this and write on it. And I was like, I'm not making it digital because there's handwriting in there. And I don't know how you would draw in Google Slides, but with the next platform we're going to talk about, Seesaw, they can. And so that's what I did. As I sent out an email and told them this is what you can do is take a snipping tool and upload that page, and then they can do everything they want to do. But let me, so let's see. My girls are also using Microsoft Teams with their, I had never heard of Microsoft Teams. Misty, that's what y'all are using?
As faculty, that's how we're having our meetings. But with Teams, they're not allowing it because they're saying that if they're not in, that kids can comment on each other, maybe bully them, and they don't trust it with the kids. But that would be the only thing that we could use, but not for kids at this time. But so that's awesome. I guess it depends on the district what they decide on.
Megan, I'll answer that when we get to. We'll come back up to there, and I'll answer that when we get to Seesaw. All of us have a scanner on our phones too. Yes, you do. Your camera app will scan stuff. In the Notes app, Robin says in the Notes app on iPhones and Androids, it says scan, so it's like taking a picture. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Okay, so let me pull this up real quick and see if I can screen share. I'm gonna go teachers.com. So this is actually a tutorial that I went, and it's the new TPT digital tool. It is coming, but if you happen upon a resource that is already part of this, now let me see if I can screen share here. Chrome tab, there we go. Share. Are we there? Oh, look at that! It worked! Yay! Okay, so I got to go over here. So let me go to my free resources. So this free download. All right, so let's download this. And I think what's going to happen is it's going to send me, I don't think y'all can see what I'm on. Okay, wait a minute. I may need to do this. Hold on. Stop sharing. I got to go to a whole different page. Just a second. It's going to be a different tab. Okay, so I got to get the screen. I just need the link, people.
While you're doing that, Shirai, I didn't realize that's kind of cool though. With Google Classroom, you can mute the kids' comments. That would help. For sure. That's what they're worried about. And
I know what I didn't do, right?
Going in at different times.
I know what I didn't do. Okay, this is what it'll look like. Okay, I know what I didn't do. Here we go. I was on the right page. Dun, dun, dun. All right, make sure you're seeing it. Okay, so if you happen upon a resource that looks like this and it has this right here.
Oh.
And it won't always be, from my understanding, it will not show up until you've actually purchased the resource. Obviously, so this is a free resource because she was doing how to use the TPT digital tool and annotate. But what you'll do is once you've purchased it, you will be able to click the Create Digital Activity, which y'all are not seeing. So I'm going to change screens and stop screen share, Chrome tab. There we go. Let me see. And this is what pops up. So once you click on that Create Digital Activity, this little like whole tool pops up, and it's within the TPT universe. You're able as a teacher to go on, like for example, if this was a resource and let's say I didn't want page 2, I could delete page 2 out of the resource. And if I wanted to delete this page, I could delete that page. Okay. It's supposed to delete. Why is it not deleting? Oh, it's because I'm screen sharing. Sorry, it would. Oh, no, it wouldn't. My bad. My bad. There's a way for me to delete these. Oh, edit pages. There we go.
Yay, awesome.
So, that's neat.
Click on the pages you don't want, and you can delete them. Okay, or you can come down here and let me go to this page right here. So like this right here, this might be a resource that you wanted to add a text box for them, or you want your kids to draw. And then there's also a way for you to grab the link or assign it. If you hit assign, then you create the access link that goes into Google Classroom.
Oh.
What happens is your students open it and it opens, which you're going to see this right now, but what happens is it actually opens that resource inside that editor thing that you saw. So your kids have access to the highlighting tool, your kids have access to the pen tool and all that. So, and once it's assigned to Google Classroom, then it's in the Google Classroom form. It's just using that link. So they still complete it and they still submit it and for grading and all of that, because I think it saves it as a PDF with their annotations and stuff on top.
Oh, that's neat.
That's my understanding. So I'm still playing with it, but I think that's super cool that it's coming out. So if you come across a resource like that has that button, play with it, find out. But I do know it's only going to be able to be assigned into Google Classroom right now.
Okay.
So, let's see.
See what Robin asked. Do you have to re-download the very last question?
Oh, if you delete the pages
later, if you want them back. Oh, I think when you delete it, okay, so I don't know, in that last page,
it wouldn't do it from the PDF that you would be downloading. It would just be in the version that your kids would have access to.
Right. So
right?
If you're looking right here at this, nope, that's not the one I wanted. Let me get this comment off first.
Because it's like two separate things, right? One is the ability to download the PDF the way you would normally do it. The other one would be the way in which you could edit the activity that you would give to your kids in Google Classroom.
Right, like the download now. And
you see this right here? I've opened this twice and I've made edits to the two different. I've got two different versions saved.
Yeah. But it would be separate from the actual PDF.
Right.
You would still be able to download the PDF the way you would normally be able to save it in the traditional way.
And so what happens, and y'all didn't see this because I'd already done it, but what happens when the first time you do it is it prompts you to go through and actually connect your Google Classroom. So I can assign it to my Google Classroom and then they can open it up on that side. Now I haven't played with it from the student side of it yet, but you assign it just like a normal assignment. And so Robin says, so to share more of the pages at a later time, you would have to redo it again and edit it again. Yeah, but you can name it.
Name it.
You can have different versions of, so if you wanted to assign like pages 1 through 2 or 1 through 6 or whatever, and then you would have different versions of it saved right there in your digital tool, which I think is really cool.
Yeah,
so,
that is kind of neat.
So Joanna said, Google Read and Write is a tool we use where kids can do that within the Google Doc that is similar to that. We'll also read it to the students and it has a picture dictionary. Yes. So here is the thing about Google Read and Write. I found out about Google Read and Write, Joanna, because I was converting my comprehension, my close reading passages for first grade to digital. And I had some people reach out because my stories are embedded in the background. And I had some people reach out and say, is there a way for you to make these so that Google Read and Write will read the story? And after doing a lot of research and deciding that I had all of those stories, I paid an author to write the stories. And I didn't want them to be loose on the page where teachers could copy and paste them and put them, because that's the only way for Google Read and Write to pick it up is if it's in a text box. Because if it's in an image, it won't read them. And so I decided for that purpose that I was going to actually just record me reading them for the students. So I love Google Read and Write, but you're going to find a lot of authors that, because of copyrights on passages and things like that, are not going to make things compatible with Google Read and Write. Other thing that I found out was that there are some schools that block Google Read and Write for whatever reason. I don't know, but I thought Google Read and Write was awesome because it had a highlighter tool and it had, and especially with my close reading stuff, I wanted the kids to be able to highlight in different colors. And I thought, oh, this is cool. But as it was, I ended up having to go through and make like highlighted bars that they could drag around and do stuff.
Oh, goodness. We use, Microsoft has Immersive Reader, which is very similar for like ESL. You can translate it to whatever language you want and it reads it to you. So my kids were taught how to use that. But of course, they typed something on OneNote, which is the program in Microsoft, and then they would Press Immersive Reader. So I didn't know that they had Google because we never reuse it. Google
Yeah.
Read and Write.
It's an add-on that you can add. It's a plug-in that you can add to Google Chrome to be able to use it. And I thought it was cool because it had a lot of cool features on it. But I was getting the first time I did it, I had teachers want it like that. So I said, okay, well, maybe I'm going to do this. And then I was like, no, I'm just going to record myself reading. And they were very thankful for that because then they get the audio recording. But I also told them, I was like, feel free if you want to, they're short passages. If you want to type them out, put a white box over mine and put your text box on top.
Over the top of it.
I mean, I can't stop you from sitting there doing the work to type it out. I'm like, but so yeah, so talking about Google Classroom. So I've used Google Classroom. Misty's used Google Classroom. Have you used it at all?
The high school, our high school students, teachers, they've used it with theirs. We had a training as a whole school years ago on it. The problem with our lower grades is that we've never had the devices to be able to do it. I mean, not even just a handful of devices to be able to throw a couple of kids on at a time. Now, it's my understanding that my school is going to be receiving funds from the CARES Act, and we're supposed to be basically going 1-to-1 from what I understand. That it's going to give us enough funding where they're going to be able to get devices for all the kids. But I'm thinking it's like third grade and up. Our younger students won't do that. And we have to decide whether or not we're going to have our kids keep the devices at school, if they're going to keep them at home, or they're going to transport them back and forth. But if that does pan out where our kids would actually have the devices, assuming we go back brick and mortar at some point, then that would be something that I would potentially be able to start, really kind of playing around with my kids. But other than the training that we had for like an entire day a few years ago, I haven't had really the need to use it because my kids have never had the devices.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, it does make sense. I mean, your kids need to have devices in order to use it. Hold on just a second, ladies. All right, go ahead. Thank you.
But I mean, I was laughing. I was like, I know what's about to happen. Something about to
Hashtag beverage delivery.
Beverage delivery. Yeah, but it's bedtime, so he's already in his jammies. I didn't want him on camera. So your kids are gonna have to have devices. Yeah. Rochelle, have you used Google Classroom?
No,
you haven't used it. Is there a reason? Have you just not had a need to, or?
I have looked at it and felt like it was too complicated for a first grader.
First graders, yeah.
And so I didn't even waste my family's time.
Gotcha. I have used it with my first graders, and I can tell you it is a learning curve. And somebody asked, was it Megan?
I'd be concerned too using it with my third and fourth graders.
I was about to say
there would be a curve to it.
Yeah, Megan said we are Google District, but wondering if Seesaw is better than Google Classroom for first graders. So moving into Seesaw, now I would have told you 2 months ago, no, Google Classroom can be used with first graders. Yes, it's a learning curve, but do the work. Stop being lazy. Just do the work. Until I found Seesaw. And I will tell you right now, if I had Seesaw, I would not even have attempted Google Classroom with my kids. I would have gone straight to Seesaw. I'm actually going to pull Seesaw up so that you can see why it would be so much better. Now, I do want to preface this with Seesaw is not just for younger elementary. You can use Seesaw all the way up through high school. I just think the platform is so much more intuitive for students. It's laid out very much like, well, you'll see. It's super easy for them to figure out how to do things. I'm going to pull this up. Let me get logged in.
And while you're pulling up, okay, now they have the new home version, right? I know you're probably going to talk about that, but that now that you could shoot the activities to them at home.
Yes. So
Sorry, I was looking at the message.
So no, you're fine. You're fine. So this is my Seesaw classroom, and of course I use it, basically so I can test out when I put activities up into the Seesaw platform. But I did not know anything about Seesaw until I started converting my centers for Google Slides. And I had teachers reaching out going, will this work on Seesaw? Will this work on Seesaw? I was like, well, yeah, I guess share a link to Google Slides and they can, they were like, and I was like, what is Seesaw? So finally I jumped in and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to preload these activities into Seesaw for these. And so I'm going to show you what it looks like. So first of all, and let me just do this, ladies, so they can see well. Yeah. When you get into your classroom, you're going to, and I did an entire hour-long tutorial over on my Facebook page for Seesaw, but you can go into your activities. You can set your classroom up. And and the other thing, let's just jump right back over here real quick. The other thing is that Seesaw can work with Google Classroom. So you can actually upload your Google Classroom roster into Seesaw. And you can get them connected so that you can actually assign things that are in Seesaw into Google Classroom. So you can do that.
Is Seesaw free?
So yes, Seesaw is free with a catch. So it's free, and you can, I'm going to show you some activities that are going to be like multiple pages. You on a free account cannot create activities that are multiple pages, but you can purchase activities or get activities from the free library that are multiple pages and assign those to your students, but you won't be able to do any editing to them if you have the free account. But you can go in and use Seesaw to have your classroom, assign activities, assign things. If you wanted to assign a single worksheet, you could do that because you can assign you can create single page activities. So let me go back here. Oh, I got to put this back up. Hold on. How do I do this? There we go. So here is the platform. So if I go to activities, this is just activities that I've been playing with and working on. But if I go to browse activity library, this is the community, and you can go through here and search. Let me just search for a first grade topic. Give me a first grade topic, CVC words. And you are going to find all these activities that are created, and these are all free, totally free, because they've been shared with the community. So let me do multiplication. And all these activities, and they're all part of the free library. And so what is so cool about that is with the free library, one, you have to be a Seesaw ambassador in order to share activities to the community, is what they call it. So you got to have gone through all of the training to become a Seesaw ambassador. I know I am. Misty, you are as well. Yes. And then you have to submit your activities, and they have to be approved before they're put into the
uploaded. Okay.
So I have yet to find an activity where something was wonky or jacked up, or it just did, they're really decent activities in there, first of all, which is really, really cool. But like I said, totally free inside the library. Now, you can find people like myself and others that are creating activities for Seesaw, and we're selling those. As soon as they've closed down submitting activities to the community right now because they've got limited staffing due to COVID. And so they don't have as many people in the office to approve. And so they're not taking any new submissions right now, because I've got a whole list of them that I'm ready to push into the community. But the thing I like about Seesaw is, let me just go ahead and grab one of these activities, and let's go back here. So if we go back to the Seesaw, and I'm just going to go to my library, or actually, let me go back to class. And this is one that I've assigned. So let's go to edit activity. So this is, I'm on the teacher side. So one, you can see where I can give it a name. And then this looks really weird right here because you see all these little colon and all of that. But what this does, if I go back, it actually adds these little graphics for the students. So it's very, well, I misdid that one. So let's go to this one. But it'll add these little images because these are all the graphics that students see, so they know what to push to get to certain things. So I love the fact that it's very visual for your students for instructions and so forth. So let's go here and let me go edit activity so I can show you what it looks like on the student side. So when the student pulls up an activity, it's going to look like this, and they've got all these tools down here. They've got a pointer to move things around. They've got a pencil. They've got a pen. They've got a highlighter. So you can see I can highlight things. They've got a marker that they can draw on. And then they've also got an eraser that if they drew on something, they could go and they could erase it. And so forth. They can also come over here and put a text box. They can also come over here and record themselves. So if they record themselves doing something, they hit that record button, come up here and hit this check. Allow, yes. And they hit start recording. I'm going to stop it. But after they've recorded, they can hit the check button and it's going to record them. And so I'll show you why you might want to do that in a minute. They can insert a picture. They can take a photo with the camera, or they can insert a picture. They can also add shapes or different backgrounds and things like that. So moving on to the activity, I don't want to make any changes to this. So you can kind of see for a first grader opening this activity and they go to the second page, which mine all have a cover page, but it's a lot of, they come down here and grab this and it's a lot of drag and drop. So they can drag and drop. Like these are my centers that you normally would cut up and laminate. And they can just drag and drop. But when they're done, they actually hit this check button and it adds it to a journal. And Misty, you want to explain what a journal is?
On their feed view?
Yes.
So everybody has a feed view and you can take pictures and put it on that. It's just that certain student. So it's saved onto their feed view, all of the activities that they've done specifically to that person, that student.
Right. So it's almost like they have their own Facebook feed of just the activities they've done. But when they submit it to their journal, they're actually submitting it to you to be graded. So you go in and you grade it. It's not self-checking, but you go in and you can grade it, and then you can assign them a grade. And there's all kinds of, and like I said, I don't want to go too far into it, but just what I showed you with the interface is so much simpler for first graders.
I imagine so.
So anyway, so that's why I like Seesaw. Misty, you've used Seesaw. What did you use it for?
Oh goodness. I've used it when they first started and they barely had any activities, maybe one or two activities, I promise. And it had like draw the beginning of the year. So I would send the activity of at the beginning of the year, draw yourself and narrate what did you do this summer? I mean, it was just simple, or tell about your family. So it didn't have all of these bells and whistles. And that was really the only activity. And then I'd take pictures, and it's kind of like I started off with a digital portfolio so the parents can get it in real time. The parents can even respond. I've had issues with parents that worked a lot that was away. So it's kind of like you're texting your parents during the day. Look what I did. And then the parents would respond by voice or by message. And they just felt like they were connected to them, because I had some that had, issues being away from their mom. So it really kind of helped connect them. So that was what I bought in at that time.
Yeah.
It just got crazy. I mean, there's all of this stuff it's just blown up.
So Joanna says, I like it because you can really differentiate how students respond. Yes, some of mine type their responses, some record it, depends on their strengths. We use it with ESL students, especially speaking, and have them record their responses. Yes, absolutely. And I will tell you that's why even like on all of my activities that I've been doing for over on Seesaw, I've made sure that that last step on the exit sheet, I've made sure to use the symbols that they can either draw, they can use the pencil to write their answers, or they can type it. And a teacher, because when you purchase a resource, if you have a paid account, you can actually make a copy of the resource or copy of it, and you can edit it yourself, and you can change those instructions to where you could even put on there for your ESLs, record your answers. So record your words instead of writing the words. I want you to speak the words for me for the answers. But that is, so Joanna said, or somebody said, or Kim said, how much? So the basic version is free, and you get up to, I want to say 100 activities in your library, in your personal library, before you have to start taking some activities out and switch them out. I want to say it's 100. Then you have, hold on just a second. Oh, my dog. I just saw the door opening and I was like, what's going on? I wanted to come in. So with the paid version, I want to say, is it $119 a year or is it $125 for the whole year, Misty?
Hold on.
I know. I was like, I'm not logged into my back office.
Yeah, let me see.
Where I could see it, but it's for the whole year. And I know as a teacher, if I was seriously going to use, and it's different if your whole school is using it, because you can also have co-teachers. So like if your grade level, like Megan, did your grade level, do y'all just have the free one, or did you go in as a grade level and do a schools, Seesaw for schools? Because it goes up. It's very elusive on the Seesaw website, because they assume if you're going to just use it as a teacher, you're going to use the free version. Seesaw.
I wrote down 120.
120.
That it was in my.
Yeah, I think it's
my little PowerPoint.
And I will tell you, yes, Megan, you're right. Right now it's free for distance learning through the end of June, I believe, it's free. So you can get in there and set up a free account and get all the features right now. So you can get in there and play with it and decide if it's something you wanted to use next year. Hands down, with kinder first, probably second grade, I would recommend Seesaw over Google Classroom. Third and up, I would say Google Classroom and Seesaw, because I can totally see myself using both. Let's see. Joanna also said, when my twins submit to their journal, I'm connected to their account and I get an email as a parent that they've added to their student journal so you can see their work. Yes,
right. That's the
parents can be connected as well. She also said, Robin says, Google Classroom is hard for even third graders. That's training.
Yeah,
it does. Megan said, I'll ask them for paid version if we're still doing distance learning next year.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think now that I've gotten into it and played with it, and it's pretty freaking awesome. I'm just going to say it is. Because you can also, the thing about it is, and the thing a lot of people love about Google Classroom is that you can assign links to things. And you can do that on Seesaw. If you have a Seesaw and let's say you have, which our next platform I was going to talk about is Boom, and Boom Learning and Boom Cards. You purchase some Boom Cards that you want, or download, get some free ones that you want your kids to use, and you don't want to set up a whole Boom account, and you don't want to have all your students have logins, and there's some benefits to that, don't get me wrong, but you don't want to go through all that. You just want them to be able to play the Boom deck. You can get what's called a fast pin, which is going to give you a link that you can share on Seesaw or Google Classroom to your classroom wall or classroom feed, to where students just click on it and they play it. Now, it's not going to record any data or anything like that. You would actually need to have them on the Boom platform to do that. But if you've got a Google Classroom, then it's super easy on Boom to import your Google Classroom over to the Boom platform, and all your kids would have logins over there, and super simple. So, but So Seesaw, Rochelle, I keep wanting to call you Roth because I look down in the thing and see.
I know. I have to fix that next time. My name first, like Julie and Misty have, and then like bump my.
Oh yeah.
Bump it
I
over.
forgot to because we were like running late already. So I just next.
Rochelle, have you used Seesaw at all?
No.
No, you haven't. Are you gonna look at it?
Yeah, I'm interested in using it next year. So I have parents I've had their kids and everything, and they are willing to do whatever. So I'm probably gonna be texting some of them and say, hey, over the summer, like, can you just like guinea pig this for me? So then I have like kids using it and I can get feedback and stuff. And then obviously I'll make an account so I can see both sides as well. But I do not plan on using Remind anymore. I'm done with that app. I am over this app. I'm over the how many characters do we have until they're like
180.
Yeah, I think it's 180.
140 characters. You think I can text message a parent with only 140 characters?
Well, and it's not just that. Remind was pretty much meant to be used as what it says. Remind, to give updates and remind people, hey, your permission slip is due, or
and that's how I use it.
You know,
that's basically how I use it. But parents will text me this whole long thing, or like right now, it's like I have a news feed coming, and then they've been doing supply pickups, and then I have like in case you missed it, and then today's video, and I want to send that to all the parents, but it's like a lot of stuff in one, and I don't want to text 3 different times, so I'm like using you are instead of your.
Yeah.
I use the and after a period.
And like remember is RMBR. Like it's so bad. I'm like character count.
I know.
So frustrating.
I think you can pay to get more characters, right?
Yeah, but I'm not in love with the app to put money into it.
Oh no, yeah.
Like I wasn't in love with Dojo because I mean I like that the parents are seeing behavior, but like they do not need to see every single thing that their child is doing. How like discouraging to be at work and get like a notice that your kid got dinged on a point because they weren't listening.
Yeah.
They're 6, 7 years old. You know?
So I have my similar feelings about Class Dojo. I used to be all on top of Class Dojo. I loved Class Dojo. I loved the fact that they had their characters and their characters would grow into new characters, and that yes, and I used it back, when I would use Class Dojo with my Super Improver wall, and I loved it.
I use it.
And like you, Rochelle, I got sick and tired of getting to the end of the day, and I had 50 text messages from parents.
I never
down a point, and then they went up and they wanted to know the exact reason that happened single time, especially if it was, not because I only did points for the 5 rules. Okay, so I would give I would ding, take a point away for one of the 5 rules, and they would be like, well, what were they trying to get out of their seat for? And I'm like, that was this morning, like after the class started. I don't know.
That's why I never connected my parents.
No, I never connected. I just do it within my class. Oh yeah.
But I was texting them. The whole point was I'm like, oh, this is the first like app that I could text parents without giving out my phone number. And I wanted to be accessible because sometimes emails get
lost.
You get slammed with work emails, and then it's so easily lost. And I don't want to be that flake teacher, which it happens to everybody. I have lost so many emails, but I just don't want to be the teacher that's like, I've sent you 3 emails and you've yet to respond.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was looking for something, and the points were cute until you get at the end of the day, like you said, all of your families that are like, what did my kid do? Or they get sick and tired of hearing what their kid did.
This is making us like, I don't want to know.
Yeah, that would be crazy.
I am a firm believer. I am a no news is good news type of teacher. If you don't hear from me, your child's
That's good. Right.
And if they naughty, it's something I can take care of in class. Like if your kid naughty, I'm nobody's lying.
Exactly.
I don't need to tell you your kid won't stop talking. You know, you gotta talk.
Yeah. Now I do have to say one thing that I like about Remind, aside from the little reminders of, hey, there's a math test tomorrow, is the messaging ability between the parents and myself, not between each other, but that communication. I have found a lot of my parents will remind message me rather than sending me an email.
Oh, right.
They don't have to compose a whole bunch of stuff. All they have to do is open the app, click the message button, and go do.
You can have proof
and we're communicating back and forth. But I also like the fact that if I initiate the message, I can tell that they've read it.
I like that about Remind
and
too.
I like that feature in Remind that I can say, well, guess what? This says you've read this message. So you can't tell me that you didn't get it.
Just so you know, Julie is that teacher. Julie is that teacher that will look at you and go, this says you read my message.
Call them out.
Well, because I've had those cases where it's like, well, you didn't message. You know, I didn't hear from you. You never contacted me. It's kind of that CYA.
Yeah.
Because I've gotten stuck in bad situations before, and having that backup to say, yeah, you did.
Well, and I think for those purposes are probably good, but trying to do everything on Remind.
Oh no,
that is like crazy. Pictures. I mean, it's good for like the simple
I don't do the pictures, but you can add sign up now for like the parties. I do like that.
I did see that. And like, that's what I've been doing. I have Remind up on my second screen because I had to. That's why I've been like turning around and because supply pickup just ended a bit ago, and I had to text parents and say, "Did you get your stuff? Did you get your stuff?" And I'm like checking them off, and they're texting me back, and I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna show," but like, "Oh my gosh, you're so sweet. Thank you so much."
I did not know. It's been several years since I used Dojo. I didn't realize Dojo had evolved because used to Dojo was just
it had. I know that it has.
I didn't realize it had evolved where you can do work turn-ins and feedback. And then Shirai says that it has parent notifications when they've read a message in Dojo too. So
that's important for me.
That's
I've never used it in that format, so I didn't know if it did or not.
I came on when it was new. But I do like seeing that. I like when I send a group message, if you click on it, you can see all the parents
that have read it.
Got the message. It'll say 100% sent.
Yeah, I like that.
Or it'll say error because I got an error and I emailed the parent and I was like, hey, I got an error. And they were like, oh my gosh, I switched phones and I didn't download the app. And so they downloaded it and they were connected. So I can tell if phones aren't connecting to the app like they should be.
Yeah.
Or you can see how many parents read it and what parents haven't read it. And it's always the same ones, but
yeah.
I do like it to figure out if they read my message. I'm still counting down a parent from yesterday. I straight up text her on Instagram, like, okay, honey, I know you've been active. It said active 1 hour ago. Did you pick up your kids' supplies? Yes or no?
I love Robinson's Dojo has a story feature where you can send pictures and notes to schools and stuff to videos to parents. I like that.
I had heard about that.
I know that we talked about this on an old episode of the Blab show because I was using it at the time, but for parents who need to communicate for like field trips, if you have a school mom or whatever, classroom parties, those type of things, the app Blooms, BLOOMZ.
Yes, my friend uses that
because you can actually go. I loved it as a teacher because I could actually go in there and I could type in all the supplies and how many we needed of everything. And then my room parent could take over, my room mom could take over, and they checked them off as they were. I mean, she could assign them to people. It was fabulous.
Almost like having a sign up genius.
Yeah, the sign up similar to that, maybe even a little bit better. I don't know, but you just use Remind. It's
been a couple of years since I've had to do that.
Yeah.
What have y'all ever heard?
Genius.
Yeah. It's so easy.
I said bless Sign Up Genius.
Yeah.
You use Sign Up Genius. Sign Up
So
Genius.
easy.
So the last one we wanted to talk about, which we kind of talked about a little bit, was boom cards. Have y'all used boom cards?
Yes, actually I kind of knew about them already, but at TCA, Della, she's a kindergarten teacher. You probably know her. She has a lot of them.
Della.
Oh,
I can't remember. Yes, I know who she is. Yes.
Okay, so she presented at TCA, and I went myself and a kindergarten teacher, and so I didn't realize all of she gave us a little code. You get it 3 months for the reports and everything. So I started using it for RTI because you get all of the reports on all of the items that they're using, and you can try it out. I know the fast pen, I did that for a little while, but I like to see the reports of the kids, and it's not that much. It was like $15 a year.
Yeah, I'm fixing to pull over because I
Pull over?
no.
Here, you hubbies and jammies going to bed, he hands you a drink and you driving? And on the show? You are the host with the most right now.
Oh, yeah, no.
Wow.
I'm in the trailer. I'm in the RV back here in the very back. Y'all just can't see me bumping down the road. Anyway. So
Like that is some steady kind of trailer then.
Oh boy.
right?
And then they're really cheap. They're reasonably priced. You can get it on Boom Card and on TPT.
So I was gonna, yes. So so a starter is free and you get unlimited fast play, which is what we were talking about, how you can set, if you're a teacher who wants to use boom cards, you don't care about the data, you just want to be able to use the boom cards for your kids to play. Which I would do if
I did that.
If you can't afford, or I won't say none of us can afford it. Trust me, we're all teachers. But if you're like, look, I'm stretched thin, I just can't do another payment for another platform. I get it. I still think you should have a free account and you should be letting your kids play the boom card, because there are some really, you can purchase the sets and you can assign them without having to have all the data. And just allow your kids to play them. But a starter one is unlimited fast play. So if you're just going to assign the link to like on Google Classroom or Seesaw, and you can have one section up to 5 students. So what I like about that is you could have the free account, and especially if we're going back into, you could have 5 devices in your classroom. So if you're going to use, you can have up to 5. Does that make sense? And you make up the students and you pull it up and you can put them in your centers to where your kids are just playing them. But you don't have to add all your student names is what I'm saying. So then, and you can do 5, you could make 5 of your own decks if you wanted to make some decks. So for those first of all, let me ask you, I guess in the comments, have any of y'all used boom cards? Because some people may not know what boom cards are. So
yeah, I don't even.
Boom cards are essential. You don't know what they are?
They are like a souped up task card or something.
Yeah, I would have the impression
on its own. It's interactive.
Yeah, they are. I'm fixing to pull it up.
Yeah,
I thought they were just like beefed up task cards, and I'm like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna hate on a task card, but like task cards were just kind of always above the first graders unless it was like simple task cards.
Well,
the ones I see are so wordy, and like my first graders aren't gonna do that.
No, these are not. Like I have a lot of CBC and even math.
Okay, then I haven't been looking in the right places, so I just
you would like this.
So I'm gonna maybe get in here.
Before I had that kind, I did the fast pen. I just had a little cord and put the fast. It was like, I think it was 5 days at one time, right? Fair. Now it's 10 or 14 days. That fast pen will be active. I can't remember.
14 days.
Okay, so they prolonged it. Used to be shorter amount of time, so it's pretty cool. And it was easy for them. And then their login was images.
Yes, so their logins are images. I got to remember my password, guys.
Oh, there's something else where logins were images.
Oh, there we go. There we go. Okay.
Images. Oh, I love Schoolboat.
I miss Schoolboat.
I love
Schoolboat. I know.
I miss having that.
Not free.
They wanted to charge us. I said, "Oh, okay, well that's too expensive."
Yep, no.
Yeah, it got very expensive.
Okay. I'm so excited. I love boom cards, man. So yes, they are task cards on steroids. So
Change my mind.
let me make sure. Okay, so I'm gonna pull up a set task cards.
Right, not free. I mean, it is free if just to have an account. I think it doesn't cost money to have a boom account. No, it's free to have an account. It's just the extra boom cards and then the report side of it.
All right, so we're gonna preview this.
It's so cute.
So when the student pulls it up, this is what it would look like. Now, obviously, I'm previewing this. So what you would want to do is you would want to have, they would need some instructions as to what they're supposed to do on this particular deck. And so, but this is a CVC builder card set that I built. So like your first graders could do this, Rochelle. And basically they drag and drop and build the letters or build the words. But here's where the magic is. These are self-checking. So the creators fix it to where when they do it and then they hit this submit button, it tells them that it's correct.
Love that.
If they get it wrong, it makes them redo it and it clears out the wrong answers. Mm-hmm. So it's very interactive. They are self-checking, and that's where the magic comes in. And they get even more complicated than, when I say complicated, I don't mean complicated for the students. I just mean they get way more intricate than this. This is just a simple drag and drop one. But there are boom cards that are entire escape rooms, to where, because there's some new functions to where we can do what's called a flow magic, to where we can have, they can almost build their own adventure. So if they choose this, then it's going to go this way. If they choose this, it's going to go this way. And it's all based on what they
offer. Adults then? Because I would love to have me an escape room kind of.
There's a digital escape room, right? I got to get the site, but we've done that at Tech Camp. You would love that.
Yeah.
Well, I've never been to an escape room, but we were going to go. He finally talked me into it. And then all this happened.
Oh, you would love it. I did it for my kids. Breakout EDU is what it's called.
Oh, we did like, I don't remember who it was. She collabed with somebody else, and then they made all the escape rooms, and we did that a couple years ago for E-Day or something for Countdown, and it was such a mess. It was such a mess.
Oh,
I was not prepared for first grade to do an escape room, and me never have experienced one. So it
right. After you do it, yeah.
So I love what people are doing now. I jumped on the boom card bandwagon back when they first started, and I created some very simple, and it literally, guys, they were so simple when they first started. But it was a lot of drag and drop and multiple choice, but they were self-checking. And that was the big thing that everybody loved, is the fact that they were self-checking. You could assign them. And if you had a paid account, then you could track that data for your students. So the paid account that you would need in order to be able to track data is a basic account, and you can have up to 3 sections. So if you're a teacher that's a departmentalized teacher that has separate sections. I know when I taught second, third, 4th, and 5th grade all in the same year, I combined my 2nd and 3rd grade students, and then my 4th and 5th grade students were in their own. But because you could have up to 50 students. And then, but if you're just a self-contained teacher, but it's $15 for the year. Now that would use the platform and get all the data. Okay. So, and that would be a whole, like, another hour on the show that I know we don't have time for to go into all the data and so forth, but you can track, it will literally, you can go to a student that you've assigned a deck to, and a deck is a deck of cards, an activity. You can go to that student, you can click on the activity that they completed, and you can then go click another part that goes into deep and even further, but you can see the exact cards that they missed. You can see the ones they got right, but how long it took them to get the answer. You can see on the ones they got wrong, you can see how many times they got it wrong and what were the wrong answers they gave.
What's it called? Write this down. What I mean, let me know. What's it called?
Go to wow.boom.learning. Because I thought all that data is so amazing because how many times, let's just take that simple CBC activity. How many times do we see our kids miss the word, the rip? And you're like, they got this wrong 5 times, but I don't understand how they got it wrong 5 times. There's only 5 vowels. And you see that they kept putting the E in there.
Mm-hmm.
And it will show you, it will tell you that they kept putting the E in there. Yeah. And you're like, all right, this kid needs work with their I and their eh. They're not getting they're not understanding it.
Okay, so question then. Okay. I guess, okay, multiple questions. Because we're all interested. Because right now, like I've got iPads in the classroom, but they straight garbage because they go on Starfall, which nothing against Starfall, but I feel like it's very outdated. They really need to update that website. And there's aspects to it that like you just don't have the account for it. It's so limited on what the kids do. And they always gravitate to that because in kindergarten they must have used it. So I'm looking for like something else that they can do. So is this like an app that I can put on the iPads and what they open the app and then they have to click on, they have like their account, they click on their name and go in?
And their little picture login.
Okay, so they have their own passwords then. So like, you know, Sally can't go into Bob's account and start playing his cards.
Right. And the thing about it is, and of course it's been a few years since I've had students in it, but Misty, correct me if I'm wrong, their passwords are pictures.
Yes, I think you can do either or, but I chose, of course, the pictures.
Okay, and can you do either? Okay.
Yes, I'm almost positive. Yeah, and I was like, oh, no. So you could do the picture one, or you can create passwords. I guess for the older kids.
For the older kids.
Yeah, and I just printed up each kid had a card, but after the first 1 or 2 times, I mean, pictures you just remember.
They remember it.
Being a bird or something, and click it, they're in.
So so they can play on a computer, or there's an app that you download to a device that they can go in and they can play on the app. Mm-hmm. And when they go in, they will see the decks that are assigned to them, and they can play the decks. Now, the thing about it is you can use these boom cards on other platforms. So if you're the Boom Help section, they've got so many tutorials on how to connect it to Google Classroom. How can you can even use it if you want all the data. So you get your kids uploaded into, and really uploading your kids into the platform is a matter of just typing their names in. I mean, it really is, and assigning them, a password. It's really simple.
Okay.
But once you get them in there, even if you're using Seesaw, you're not using Google Classroom, you can still grab a link and they would click that link and either go to the website and log in and play their decks, or you could make an assignment and tell them, especially if they're at home on an iPad, and tell them you've got assignments in Boom, complete this assignment, complete this deck or whatever. And they would you could leave them a link to book, or, if they're on an iPad, when they click it, it's probably going to open the app anyway, because a lot of that forces it to open. But you can do that. So you can use the Boom platform to gather the data, but your main platform would be Seesaw or Google Classroom. So
would you say you could do this, like, let's say we don't want to waste paper. So we say, okay, so your homework, and we assign 2 decks to all the kids, 1 reading deck and 1 math deck. And so when they go home, their homework is to complete their reading and their math decks. And then you have no copies. Oh, girl, why did you not tell me this years ago? I'm dying. My soul is dying inside.
So we've got some questions. So Shirai says, doesn't it cost money to have a Boom account? Like I said, the free account will allow you to do the fast play. So if you wanted to, for example, do what Rochelle's talking about, where she just wants to assign a math deck and
No, I want to know how they're doing.
well, she wants the data.
Well,
But
I want the data.
you just want them to play it.
Take my money.
Take my money.
It's not bad. And then
You could do the free account, but for $15 a year, that's pretty sweet. I mean, it is.
Yeah.
Now, if you wanted to go all the way up to the power level, which is the unlimited, you still get the unlimited fast play. You can have up to 150 students, unlimited. See, with the basic, you only get 5 self-made decks so that you, the teacher, are going to make. But with the power, you get you can make as many decks as you want to, and you get the live monitoring, which that is awesome. You can go in and see live and watch your kids play live. So, for example, if you have sent homework home and hey, you could jump on, Rochelle, at night, and you could periodically check to see who's online and who's working on their boom decks. And live monitoring, which I think is awesome. Now that's $25 a year. And if you decide to be awesome and creative and decide you wanted to actually create boom decks to sell, then the teacher one or the seller one is only $35 a year. It's still super cheap. Yeah,
that's so reasonable.
I'm telling you. Now I will tell you that Mary and Eric, who created this, they
are millionaires. Retire in the Bahamas.
Say again.
I say are millionaires and can retire in the Bahamas.
They are so super amazing, but they actually collaborated with Rachel Lynette because she's like the task card queen, and they actually collaborated with her. And like I said, when Rachel messaged me and said, "Hey, come get on this," back like the first month they were up, I jumped on, and then I created some stuff and I just didn't do anything with it. And so then at last summer at the Teachers Pay Teachers conference, they had a session, and I went to that session, and I was like, oh my gosh, there's so many new functions. I was like, holy crap. So it was like relearning it all over again. But there are so many, and I'm going to get into some of these other questions. So Shirai says, say that website. So it's wow.boomlearning.com. And then Robin says, so do you have to buy boom cards to use an account? So you can create your own, and there are some free ones. So I do want to jump over here and show you the store. So this is what the store looks like. Now, there are 2 ways that you can get boom cards. You can get boom cards on the Boom website, or there are sellers that are actually and authors that have put them over on Teachers Pay Teachers. And so what happens is if you get them over on Teachers Pay Teachers, you're typically going to download a PDF that's going to have a link in it. And when you click that link, it's going to take you over to the Boom site, and it's going to say, add this deck to your library. You'll click yes. And from there, you can assign it to your students. But you'll see, and let me go bigger here so people can see it. You will see right here, and I may need to, let's see if this works. Oh, it works. Did that make it bigger for y'all?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Boom works with points. So you buy a set of points, like a club. So you pay so much for a certain amount of points. And the way they've got it set up is the more points you buy at a time, you save. So you get a discount. It typically comes out to about a penny per point, but not exactly. And it really depends on how many points you buy. Because if you buy the lower end, it's not a penny per point. And if you buy the higher end, you actually are getting more points per penny. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And they have a lot of free ones. And what's the thing fair on Fridays? It's free Friday. So a lot of the people would sell them. I mean, you can download them for free on that Friday. So that's about that.
So there are a lot of teachers, and I just found out about that. So I'm going to start participating in that. But basically what they do is on Fridays, I think there's a hashtag that you can follow. Yeah. Isn't it Boom Free Friday or something like that? We will figure it out and we will post it at some point in the group. But you can go onto the library and you can find people that are actually participating where they've got some of their boom decks set to free. and you can grab them. So here is so basically, like, if for $3 you get 225 points, all the way up to, if you wanted to purchase 10,000 points for $100. I will say this: if you decide this is something that you want to do for your classroom, and you are going to be using this, and you are going to be using boom decks, I'm going to recommend, if you can, go ahead and purchase all 10,000 of those points at the beginning of the school year, because I'm telling you, you will fall in love with it. You will absolutely love boom cards, and your kids are going to love them, and it will be so worth it. But I understand if you can't right off the bat, or if you're just starting, but trust me, you'll purchase your first set of points. You'll be like, oh no, I'm just going to go big and go ahead and purchase all these points.
So,
because
like,
you
how
do
much
save.
power do we have? Like, can we get the people that started Boom to maybe come and talk on here? And then, well, but then how fun would it be to, like, do a giveaway membership?
I might be able to make that happen.
I'm just
Hey
saying.
now, connection.
I can reach out. I sure can. You know what? I might reach out. I'll reach out to Mary and Eric and see if they'll come on the show.
I can't be the only one super
Yeah.
pumped about this that was in the dark about Boom.
Since you have an account fair, can you okay, because when I went to the thing, Della had a thing where I scanned it and I had 3 months of free for the $15 program. So do you have access where you could share there's a code or something Della sent out, and then I was able to have 3 months for free.
Are you talking about because of the COVID?
No, it was before that. It was what was our trip? We went in February to the tech conference. And I thought maybe anybody who has an account there, or maybe a teacher seller, can send. It was a QR code. I scanned it, and I have 3 months for free.
So I'll look. I'll go in and look, because I know that if you purchase a set of Boom cards, yes, Hillary is correct. This I know for a fact. It's free. It's free until June 2020 because of COVID. I did know that. So it's another platform that they said you could get a free basic account through 2020. But I also think that if you are brand new, and let's say you purchase cards off of TPT, I know that in my wording, there's wording that we have to put in there that says if you don't, you have to sign up for a Boom account. So you have to sign up for a free account. But I think that there's wording in there to where you get, maybe it's for 60 days. 60 or 90 days that you get a basic account for free before you're required to upgrade. So make sure you check into that, and we'll drop some links. I'll jump over and drop some links after the show. We'll get some links and stuff in there, Misty, for them. I'll put them up in the description so that y'all will be able to find. Y'all won't have to go through the comments. But the library, just like I showed you the library for Seesaw, the library for Boom is crazy. It is so crazy. So let's go back over here. Let me go back to there we go. So as you can see, you buy your points and so forth. I don't know why this is wanting me to update. Oh, I got 500 points. I could spend them right now. Why not? So let me bring this out a little bit. So you're going to have, just like you've got featured authors and featured decks, there's no rhyme or reason to how these show up, but you come up here and you just simply type in, let's let the audience, y'all give me a topic. Give me a topic. Give me a topic. Give me a topic. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, na, 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 na. I know. Give me a topic. Rochelle, give me a topic.
She put fractions, Kim.
Fractions. There you go. Oh, we're learning fractions right now.
So look at all of these Boom decks.
Oh, look how cute.
So what you're going to see is, let's look at this. So if on the main page you saw that for $3 was 225 points. So let's go through here and look at this. Most authors are going to price their decks. When you see the price, I want you to think about it as a penny per point, because that's the way we price them. So this pack right here would be $1.50. It's 150 points, and that's going to cost you $1.50 based on where you purchased your points. Does that make sense?
How many kids can you assign a deck to? Like, do you have to buy 25 decks to give 25 kids?
No.
It goes. One deck goes to all of them.
One deck goes to all your kids.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, then it kinda adds
one
up.
time, and you can assign it to your kids as many times as you want to. It is yours. It is your deck. So you can use it this year and next year and the next year. Yes, those are your decks. Once
So
you
it's like TPT then. Once you buy a product, that is your product.
Oh, yeah. I bought.
yes, it is your product. So the thing that if I go over here, I can actually search by grade level, and I can also come up here and I can, where is it? Let me go cancel. Isn't there a place? I thought there was a place for me to type in free.
Oh yeah, there is it on the. Are you in the store?
I am.
Oh, there we go.
But all of these for 0 points.
Yeah, so that's what I've done many times. to try them out, I just pull up free. And
So and then you can come over here, 0 points, ELA, first grade, all these free first grade cards. I'm trying to think. Let's see. I want to see if I can find one that's like.
They're reading that looks like a little cold read type story. So they got a lot of cool things.
Yes, they do. I'm trying to find one. Let's see if I can.
Like Seesaw, where they have to like approve what you post, or is this like TPT that you can throw anything on here?
It's very much okay. So they do not have to approve it. So sellers are responsible. They're not responsible. Robin says, how many kids can be on a paid account? The basic 50 students, the power 150 students, and the ultimate 200 students. So if it's just you for your classroom, that $15 a month should be fine, because I doubt you have 50 students. Unless you're like me, where I was departmentalized and I was like, I had 2 sections. So but yeah, you go through here. There's so many free ones. There's so many, but personally for me, they're pretty cheap, because I would say that the average cost of a deck of boom cards for just one deck is around $3. I would say the average cost. Some of them are going to be and a lot of it depends on, how many cards are in the deck. For example, the one I showed you at the very beginning where you were dragging the letters, there are 60 cards in that deck. So it's a $6 resource, or 600 points. Yes, that's right. I think that's right.
Yeah.
And so, can you have co-teachers? That's a good question, Robin.
I'm not sure. I never even
I
tried.
don't know, but I tell you what, we will add that to I will add that to my list of questions and find that out. I know on Seesaw you can have co-teachers. I'm not sure on, but the thing about it is if you put your kids in, Robin, if you create a login that you and the co-teacher can log in, y'all will see the same kids. So you could do that. You could just add all of your kids, and then the 2 of you just have a general teacher login for y'all to use.
But that might actually kind of be nice, because then you're seeing the whole grade level, and then you'll see, is the whole grade level missing this one thing?
Yeah.
Because you see them all in one space. So it might be good to see if like there are certain areas that perhaps you need to like beef up because the kids are weak on it. And it's like, how affordable is that for the 150 students? Because in first grade for us next year, there'll be about 100 kids. If that, I think we might be sitting at 90 right now for 4 teeth. We're keeping 4. And so we can get the account for, what did you say? It was 100 or 100?
150 maybe, I think she said.
For 150 kids?
150.
Yeah.
$25 for the year.
Right. And then you separate that between 4 teachers? How?
That, or on your back to school night, put a sticky note up for your parents that want to help with stuff. Be like, donate so we can have our boom cards for the year. Just saying. Okay, so Hillary says, so it says import a Google Classroom so you can assign. Yes, you can. You assign them straight through. Now, it does take them, depends on how you do. if you're assigning import a Google Classroom, what you're doing is you're uploading your roster from Google Classroom into Boom so that they're tied together. And then when you assign decks and so forth, I believe it connects to show you that they've completed it, but all the data will still be over in Boom. Shirai said something earlier. She said, this has been the most informative show. We just have to get into our groove. I'm actually talking teacher stuff.
Yeah, we're 10 minutes late. Did we make up the time?
Yeah, I think so.
I think we have.
Yeah.
First one, Tiger King, and now we're all in it, baby.
We're like back to teaching. Points versus actual pricing out is annoying, but your explanation of 1 penny per point.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kelly.
Yeah.
I know that it's frustrating because you're like, oh, I'm buying points. I don't understand.
Right.
But it literally, I will tell you that as sellers, that is the typical thought process is we typically price our decks a penny per point. Does that make sense? So if you see a deck that's 250 points, then the author is thinking, well, it's $2, and because that's how we get paid. If you purchase, that's how we get paid a penny a point is what happens. So minus our fees and stuff like that, but that y'all don't care about that. But, there's free decks. The Friday free hashtag, which we will figure out.
I'm trying to look. I don't know. I heard it.
It's probably on the Boom.
I think all I did was I went on there and I did Free Friday, and it like all no spaces, and it started pulling them up. And then I
think what happens is we're supposed to go in and put it in our titles. Is we're supposed to put the hashtag in our title.
You know who can tell us though? The people who agree.
She really wants him to come on.
I so badly want them to come on.
I'm gonna reach out to Mary and Eric and be like, we want to do a whole show on Boom. We have to explain it. Y'all come explain it and show us all the things that they get.
Because I was in on it this summer, so that's good. I need to know.
We need to do like a digital summer where it's like we get like digital things going. I know we already did like Go Noodle, but Go Noodle came out once. Maybe we can do Go Noodle again. That's digital like exercise and PE. Boom cards. Maybe we can get somebody from Seesaw on here.
Oh, I can make that happen. Yeah.
Like maybe we can get all these like digital websites and stuff to come on and start like pushing their platforms, because if we might have to go digital and
right. Class tag is another one. I've heard of class tag. I fiddled around with it at one point just for my class tag. And it's kind of
class tag.
Yeah, and it's got messaging features and where you can, I think, assign stuff. There's a bunch of components in it, but I only played with it a little bit.
It's similar to Class Kick, where you could see them working. Like if you're out of the classroom and a sub's there, they can do their work, but you could see it from Class Tag and Class Kick. I wonder if it's similar.
But
that might be Class
Tag. What they compared to Class Dojo, like Class Dojo was like, this is like primary. Class Tag is like intermediate. I think like they were avatars and not like little monsters.
Oh, okay.
I think they were trying to sell Class Tag, whatever. I think they were trying to sell that for like the intermediate kids. If I remember correctly, it was years ago.
So Cuckoo Kangaroo did a virtual conference for
that.
Robin had a good question. Is the membership for calendar year or year to date of purchase? It's year to date of purchase, because I get my renewal notice. Isn't that right? I get it at the same time every year. So it's a year from the date of purchase. So if you're going to do it, I would sign up like August.
Yeah.
What are you doing, Julie?
I'm doing the roller coaster from Cuckoo Kangaroo.
Cuckoo Kangaroo.
Crazy. Hold on.
So I wanted to show you. Go Guardian lets you see them working. I like that too. Okay, so I wanted to show y'all. I forgot that I had my granddaughter in here from some. I was using her to test some stuff.
I also see Kevin was testing some things as well.
Yes, he was a student for a while too.
He's got to keep learning, even though he's a retired cop. We got to keep him working.
Yeah, we got to keep him working. That's right. So I can go to assignments, and I can see that these are all the assignments that I've assigned and so forth, but I can go to reports as well. And I can pick a deck. So let's say this one right here. So I pick this deck and I assigned it to my demo student, to Kevin and Serenity. I can see that these two have not even done the deck. And then I see that Serenity's done it, and she's got a 90% average so far. She spent 56 minutes and 41 seconds on the deck. 90% is her best time. She's done it multiple times and she's missing. But what I can do is I can go in and I can, to her specifically, I can click on that and see these ones that are wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I can click on this one that was wrong, and I saw that she typed 5-4-24. So I know exactly what she got wrong.
Okay.
So, and then I can go over here and the same thing, 4-4-16. And so she actually didn't pay attention. She typed 4-4-16. I don't know why that one's wrong. I didn't make this deck, so it's not mine. Isn't it 4?
Yeah, because there's four rows
No.
of
It's 3 rows of 4.
3 rows of 4. Yeah.
It is. Sorry. I
Or
was
4 rows of 3. I don't know. I don't teach.
Look, my eyes are playing tricks on me.
No, she was counting the sweets on the side and the muffin on the bottom.
That must have been
That
it.
was
That's right.
deceiving, that
The
part.
picture threw her off.
But here's the other thing that I can see. Her fastest responses were on this card. Like she got and so I can even see, what do you notice about all these?
Pictures, she does well.
They're straight ahead. So like this one she got wrong. Well, she got that one wrong. But this one, you see how it's at an angle?
Mm-hmm.
So I can
wow.
note that all these ones that she had the fastest response, well, 3 times 3, that's an easy multiplication. So she knows,
Right.
guessing the ones she was fastest on are easy multiplication.
Mm-hmm.
So she's not having to take as long. So, I mean, you can tell so much data from the student side of this so that you can see like what they got wrong, you know, how fast it took them and so forth. I think that is invaluable. So for $25
And how great for differentiation, because if you have kids that can already add to 12,
Yep.
if those kids add to 18, add to 20, like why hold them back? Get back boom card decks that challenge those kids and then assign the kids that still need adding to 10. You can assign adding to 10, adding to 12 to the kids that are still trying to master that skill. So there's great opportunity for differentiation for this too.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, I'm so in love. I need to speak to these people that are
No,
like,
you
don't
have
know
to get
they're
there.
yet. I need to meet them. I need to virtually shake their hand.
Ah.
In my hand, I will have a year's supply, 3rd tier, please. In my hand. Here you go.
I love it.
But
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to reach out to them. That we will put our heads together and start planning out our summer episodes, and maybe we'll just do a whole episode on Google Classroom, a whole episode on Boom, a whole episode on Seesaw.
But this could be a hashtag. Hashtag Blab Show Digital Summer.
Oh!
I'm excited.
Do we need to make t-shirts like everybody else?
Yeah. Blab Show Digital Summer.
Blab Show Digital Summer. There you
So
go.
we're giving out a free conference, but it's a weekly conference.
I was part of the
It's all
hashtag
digital.
Blab Show Digital Summer.
Hashtag
Blab Show Digital Summer.
Blab Show Digital Summer. All right, we're going to have to start putting our heads together on this.
Do we need to reach out? A+ shirts. Come on.
I can't with you. You crack me up, Michelle. Hey, I'm down. We'll put our heads together. We'll figure it out. Guys, we have been on here for 2 hours.
Wow.
The fact that
Lordy.
you stuck around, we hope that you've gotten some interesting information. Dig in, get into this stuff. I know that Hillary said, I'm so disappointed that we end in 4 days. I have all these resources. That's okay,
kinda
because
how we
like
are.
I said,
I
I'm going to need them. I think you're going to need them.
Prepare it in the summer, baby. You'll be ready.
I I needed this a couple of weeks ago. I could have been doing boom cards this whole time, and I
That's okay. That's all right. I didn't really know until February, and I just started it. It's all right. Look at that.
Robin said, love this. Hashtag Blab Show Digital Summer. And Hillary said, it's a hashtag now. So it's okay.
We're running around. Hashtag Digital Summer. Oh,
and she's not going to be. I love it. I love it. I love it. Ladies, thank you so much for a great show. It was fabulous. We love you. These are the types of things that we loved doing on Blab. We started off just having fun. That's why we started off with the Tiger King, because everybody needed a break from teaching. But yes, we knew eventually we would get back into teaching stuff. We love you guys. I don't have it queued up, so we're not going to take it out on our dance tonight. That's okay. We're going to go straight to our exit. But guys, thank you so much for joining us. You've all been fabulous. Keep being absolutely amazing educational rock stars, and we will catch you next week for another episode of the Teacher Blab Show. Bye, guys.
See ya.